Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together.
You want to go at like 5?
5 seconds, yeah.
Yep.
Baseball family, welcome to our Sunday edition of the Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brig. I'm going to be driving this boat. I got the Brad Master here with me with his Bradenton Marauders hat on.
That's right.
How are you? Ahoy, Brad. Ahoy.
Ahoy hoy. I sail. Let the boat do the work. That's my secret.
Turns out you're doing really well. I don't have to ask you. You look great. You sound great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How are you, Brig? With your
I'm fine.
Spartanburger Brig?
What?
Spartanburger Brig?
Oh, yeah. Feeling it. I'm really feeling it today. That's for sure.
Nice.
This is one of my favorite jerseys. I saw it, and then I forced myself to go and try on all of them. I tried the road grays. I tried the alternates. And I said, nope, I knew in my heart that it had to be this one the moment I saw it. It just it's my favorite.
What
Look
color
at
are
it,
their
man.
alternates?
They have a blue one with like lots
The
of
blue?
this
Okay.
electric lime green piping in it, and then they have the road grays that are
Okay. That's
their
cool.
own thing. But
I like that.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. All right, baseball family, this episode is Emoji Tiers. It is our version of Power Rankings. What we do, at least this far into the season, and it'll change eventually, but this far into the season, we break things up into 5 categories, or is it 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was right. 5 categories. It's early. We break things up into 5 categories, and we do not number our lists because you don't have time for that, and neither do we. But we have our tiers of that we bucket everything into. The first is the diamond tier. The second is our heart tier. Question mark is number 3. Then we have our thumbs down, and then the remaining 3 teams go into the poop tier. The way it's structured is 3 teams in the diamond, 3 teams in the poop. Every other tier gets 8. And now here we are. We're going to give you our power rankings. We're going to start at the top this time. We'll go from the diamond to the poop because at this point in the season, I think we all know who's in the poop. And it's not going to change much, but we will so we're going to go from the top.
Or I guess teaser. My poop tier did change a little bit.
Mine did too, by 1, but that's okay. We'll talk about it. Oh, yeah.
We'll get there.
Baseball family, last thing I want to bring up, Brad and I do not collaborate, commiserate, or any other sort of sharing of our lists when we make them, so it is just as big a surprise to you as it is to us as to what we're thinking and feeling in terms of power rankings throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
So we do it every month. Brad, tell us who's in your diamond tier.
My diamond tier is pretty simple because there's only 3, as you would guess. The Tigers, the Cubs, and the Phillies.
Ooh.
There is a notable team missing, and I will acknowledge that. But we'll get there, and I'll tell you why.
There are
later.
2 notable teams missing, my friend, but that's okay.
Okay, all right. Tigers have the best record in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, real quick, this is a previously recorded episode. As of right now, the Tigers are 34-20. Okay?
Yep.
I guess, sorry, that's not the best record in baseball. That's the Phillies. The Phillies are 39.
The Phillies are
34,
the best,
19.
yeah.
Yeah. But still, the Tigers have the best record in the American League. They are the best team in the American League, and I don't think it's close. They have the best pitcher in the American League. And they have a player, yes, Brig, I said it. I'm a Mariners fan, and I said it.
Okay.
Okay? Tarek Skubal-Doo, if you will, is the best pitcher in the American League. He is the best pitcher in the American League and is on a collision course with winning a back-to-back Cy Young. Okay?
It's true.
And
Yeah,
by
you're
the
right.
way, you know what we haven't talked about even a little bit this year, Brig?
Go ahead.
The re-emergence of Javi Baez.
You know what? I was going to bring that up. Go ahead.
Somebody loves baseball again, by the way. And I don't know if it was... I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like, man, that guy must have been hurt. He must have really been hurt for a significant amount of time. which just sucks and sucks the life out of you. And I'm sure that's a significant reason as to why he was so terrible the last few years. He has been a
Bad.
monster this year. He has
Can we go
been,
through his numbers? I've got him right here.
do it.
He's already posting a 1.6 WAR. He's had 152 at-bats, produced 44 hits and 6 home runs. He's averaging 289 right now. He's scored 23 times. He's driven in 29 runs. Forget about it.
Yeah.
We might need to start celebrating Dia del Mago again.
We might. And I'm going to give him Comeback Player of the Year award if this keeps up, because it's been insane. Because last year we were talking about addition by subtraction because they started winning once he was gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it was like the day after. So
it was the day after. It was literally it wasn't like the day after. It was literally the next day.
It was the day after. You're right.
Oh, man.
And it's been insane. The position change has been good. I remember hearing that I think he came up as an outfielder initially, and then I think the Cubs moved him to shortstop just because he's a freak athlete, like so many guys are. And he was good there, but I don't know. It's weird. There's something to be said, I think, sometimes for playing your natural position and whatever. But here he is, and it's been awesome. Now the Phillies. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
He's had 29 games in center field. He's had 12 games at third, 7 at shortstop, and 1 at second base, which is where he spent most of his time in the Cubs uniform, is at second base. So
I thought he played shortstop for the Cubs.
No, he played second base.
What?
I'm looking. Shortstop and he split time between the two.
Oh, after 2018. After 2018, he spent more time.
Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, as an outfielder, his defensive production, he's got a 1,000 fielding percentage. League fielding percentage this season in the outfield is at 989.
That means no throwing errors, and he's catching everything his way.
That's right, everything.
Love it.
Good for Javi Baez. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm really happy for him because he's one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, the Phillies. Okay. Like I said, previously recorded, this is actually Memorial Day. They're 34-19. They've won 9 of their last 10, and that one was Sunday. Okay. Plus 42 run differential, which is not the number I want to look at. Okay. That record against teams over 500 is 13-12, which is around 500. I understand that, but that's better than it was last month.
Way better.
Better than it was this time last year, too.
Way better.
So they're coming around, and it helps that the Mets have not played the way that they were earlier recently, and so they've taken over the top spot in the NL East. And I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it the rest of the way, because it seems like they figured it out and they're going to be able to just ride with it the rest of the way. The Cubs, we've talked about the Cubs a ton of late. 32-21, 7-3 in their last 10. They have a plus 91 run differential. That's tough. My only bugaboo with the Cubs is that 10-12 against teams over 500. And I think that comes down to their pitching. They're going to need to sort some things out. That super exciting game that we saw against the D-backs this year was because of the issue of pitching.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they'll get that figured out and they'll be okay. But man, the Cubs are a lot of fun to watch this year, and they can put up runs.
Boy, they put up runs, that's for sure.
They can put them up with everybody. So we'll see.
I'm going to get into the Cubs in a minute because they're not in my diamond tier, Brad. That's fine. They didn't make it. Okay. My diamond tier consists of the Phillies, Tigers, and Yankees right now.
You would.
The Phillies aren't just winning, they're winning in style. I don't know how many walk-offs they've had, but they did back-to-back walk-offs the other day. I actually tried to find the stat on how many walk-off wins they've had this season. Cannot find it. Doesn't matter because they are exciting to watch. I didn't look that hard, Brad. If you can find it, look. The Tigers are top 5 in MLB in RBI production and in ERA. They have They have a top 5 ERA across their entire pitching staff. And then let's talk about Scooble again, Scoobly Doobly. He's got 92 strikeouts. That puts him at number 2 in all of Major League Baseball, Brad. Number 2. He's the number 2 pitcher in Major League Baseball in terms of strikeouts. Okay?
13 in a completed game is going to help.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Yankees have a run differential of plus 108, even after they lost one to the Rockies, which was an abomination. But that's okay. We're still hoping DJ comes up, and thank goodness for DJ, because now we've got Oswaldo Cabrera's out. Jazz still isn't out, or isn't in. He's still out. So DJ's return couldn't have been a moment too soon, but he's still struggling. Even in Denver, he struggled. Maybe that's a return home yippee thing. I don't know. We'll see how he does moving on. So that's how my diamond tier shapes up right now. A couple of notable not includeds, and we're going to get into those right now. Brad, do you want to tell us how your heart looks?
I will in just a second. So real quick, the Phillies actually only have one walk-off win this season, and it came against the Nats.
No, because they did it
April.
No, they did it twice
Oakland.
against.
They're playing in Sacramento. They're at the A's. So
You said the Nats.
Yeah, they walked off the Nats in April, but they had late inning win where they took the lead late or scored late against the A's because they were playing in Sacramento. So you can't walk off when you're the road team.
You're right. So I see what you're saying. Okay.
They beat the A's in the 11th.
Yeah.
And then they put up 3 in the top of the 9th, which they needed all of them.
Yeah, they
Sunday
did
against the A's. So
yeah, you're right.
As of today, they have one walk-off win, but they're scoring late in the game, which I think is really important and a good way to gauge a team's ability, because you can get up early and be okay, but actually, you know what? I heard a stat on Sunday that the Mariners are the only team as of right now that are 500 when the other team scores first. Everybody else is under 500.
Whoa.
If they don't get on the board first. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. But I feel like having the ability to score late in games is huge. Yeah. It's huge. It's big. And is what really matters when it comes to the postseason anyway.
I agree.
So, all right. Let's move on to my heart tier.
Yeah, do it.
This is where you'll find the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, the Mets, your Yankees, Cleveland's baseball club, the Mariners, and the Astros. In no particular order is where I have everybody. However, if I did have to order, I'd put the Dodgers at the top, and I'm going to put my Mariners at the bottom. And part of that is because I feel like my problem with the Mariners is their right-handed lineup against left-handed pitching is atrocious. It is so bad. You're trotting out Donovan Solano as your first baseman when you have, I know Rowdy Tellez is not like a world beater.
No.
And probably isn't the best guy to have out there against lefties, but I'd take him right now. And you have a guy in AAA in Tyler Locklear who came up last year. He didn't have an MVP or all-star stretch, but he was better than this.
Right.
And so it blows my mind that they're trotting out that, and then they've got Dylan Moore, who is very up and down. When he's good, he's great. But when he's not, oh boy. He's one of those guys when he's on a cold streak where he walks up, you're just like, well, this is the end of the inning. The rally killer, the black hole is coming up, and it can be really frustrating. Who else are they putting out there against the right-handers? Mitch Garver is the other one I have a problem with, because he's been better this year than last year, but a corpse would be better this year than he was last year. So, and don't get me wrong, like, he is great in the clubhouse. Cal Raleigh has talked about how he is a great mentor for him, But man, the bat is just not there.
Yeah.
It is not there. And so I think that the Mariners coming up in the next couple weeks are going to make some moves. They have some guys in the minors who I wonder if they're either going to move them or bring them up, but there's got to be some changes because that right-handed lineup is just a mess right now. The Dodgers. So let me tell you why I put the Dodgers in the heart tier. It's because they don't have their pitching right now. And we've seen this year that if you do not have pitching, sometimes it just does not matter how many runs you put up.
Yeah.
That your pitching staff, your bullpen, your starting pitchers, they're just going to give up more. They're
Yeah.
going to give up more runs. And so you're not going to win games. And yes, I understand the Dodgers are in first place in the NL West. But they only have a 1-game lead on the Giants today. They have 2 games on the Padres. Both those teams are very good. You be careful or they're going to catch you.
Yeah, especially
So,
Giants. They're sneaky.
yes, they are. And here's a number, Brig. Against teams over 500, the Dodgers are 8-8.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That
exactly
number is
right.
not as good as it was a month ago.
Nope.
So, and the fact that they've only played 16 games against teams over 500, that's a problem. That's a
Very
problem
small
to me.
sample size. We don't know. We don't know all the way yet. There's not enough information.
Shohei Ohtani's going to hit home runs, but they lost on Sunday. That was the only run they scored.
Exactly.
It was a leadoff homer by Ohtani. So that's a problem. That is a problem. So they're gonna need to figure some stuff out. Let's see, Padres and Giants. We talked about them a ton. Both those teams are really great. They're putting it together on both sides. I saw a graphic on Sunday night that said that Luis Ariz is on pace to strike out 14 times all season.
Oh,
All year.
make it make sense, Brad.
I cannot.
It doesn't make sense.
It's so crazy. So he's putting up a negative .2 WAR this season.
Yeah.
And I'm sure most of that is with his glove. But he's only struck out 5 times so far this year. He's hit 3 homers, but he's batting .284, which is not great for a guy whose job is to just put the ball in play and not strike out, right?
Right.
But his OPS plus is still 104. Like, I'd
Yeah.
still want him up at the plate over 90% of the league when all you need is a hit.
That's right.
If you've got a runner on second, he's the guy I want up because you're pretty sure he's going to put it where it needs to be, right? So
Yep.
it's super interesting. It's crazy what's going on there, and I think that batting average number is going to go up going forward because law of averages say that you put the ball in play that much, you're going to get on base.
I agree.
So, and then a couple more. Cleveland, they're right there with Seattle at the bottom. If I had to order them, just because I don't know, I'm not super confident who they are or sure who they are, but they're kind of keeping pace with the Tigers a little bit. They're only 4 games back right now. They do pretty well against teams over 500. They're 14-11. I like that. I like that number a lot. I don't know. It's because I was really close between not being sure who they were and really liking them, and so they kind of ended up here by default because there were other teams below that pushed them up.
Yep.
So, and then the Mets. I think we're seeing who the Mets are. I'm going to like them for now because they got a bunch of talent, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I agree.
Okay. I'll put your Yankees at the top too because they're killing it. They're the other best team in the American League.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, my heart tier in no particular order: Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Cubs, Mariners, Cleveland's baseball team, Mets, and Twins. I know. Be ready. The Dodgers are 3rd in runs produced across all of Major League Baseball with 294. They're 2nd in home runs produced with 82, but they're 20th in earned runs. They've given up 215 earned runs, and they're 7th in Major League Baseball in home runs allowed at 67. So we've talked about the Dodgers having trouble on the mound. Now we're seeing the numbers are going to make it, very clear why they're not in the diamond tier. They can't. I can't put them in the diamond tier with the pitching being so shaky. And it's not awful. There's nothing atrocious about it yet, but it's uncertain. And if they're already talking about,
It's
go ahead.
enough of a problem that I wouldn't be surprised if they got bounced in the first round. That's the issue with me, is that they're
Yep.
not the first round they play where they have a bye or whatever. Uh, it's not good enough at this point for me to be like, yeah, they'll go through. I feel like anybody could beat them. They're gettable right now.
They're super gettable. I agree. Padres, they came out the chute 15-4, and since then they were 14-18 through Memorial Day. And then they lost Michael King, and now I'm worried. They're riding this heart tier for now. I think they'll be okay, but who knows? I am afeared for them. Giants, we've talked about them, super sneaky. The Cubs, check this out. The Cubs are top 5 in Major League Baseball in average, home runs, RBIs, hits, and stolen bases. And those are just offensive numbers. Can you believe that? Don't sleep on the Cubs right now, okay? You can't be doing it. The Mariners, I think the biggest thing the Mariners have going for them is Big Dumper. Cal Raleigh is having career numbers no matter which way you look at it. He's
I've been
fourth.
saying for like a couple weeks, if Judge wasn't hitting 400, he'd be the front runner for the MVP.
Yep. And he's got exquisite defense. Fourth in home runs. His defense is unmatched. So, gotta love what you're seeing out of Cal Raleigh. Cleveland's baseball team is here for every reason you said. I cannot put them lower because there are not enough slots to drop them down. The Mets are here, but Juan who is what the question is. And, I don't understand what's going on with Juan Soto. And it's strange with Juan Soto because he's batting .236. He's got a 1.6 B-WAR so far, 45 hits, 8 homers. He's produced 34 runs, 24 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases. That's not a through Memorial Day performance the Mets paid for. It's just not.
Yeah.
So will
Maybe
he
they'll
pull it
stolen
together?
bases because he's not a guy I would think would get him.
No.
But he is.
Is he going to pull it together? I don't know. We're about to find out. The thing is it's either going to happen or it's not, and
Right.
we're going to know soon. And then the Twins.
Absolutely.
Here you go. This is my one that I think surprised you. What is going on in Minnesota? Okay, because they've won 13 straight through in May. And Ober has a 2.28 ERA over 10 starts. Forget about it. Okay? There's some magic happening in Minnesota. I don't know that they'll stay here much longer, but they could. They could even get better. They're not going to advance past my heart tier. Would be shocked if they did. But they're here for now, and I like it. Back to the Yankees really quick. Obviously they are, or not back to the Yankees. I'm sorry. We already talked about the Yankees. Never mind.
Yeah,
we
they
don't
were
have
in
to
your
hear about the
diamond.
Yankees anymore.
Okay.
I did want to. I have more, but we'll leave it at that.
I'm sure you can do an episode.
Brad, tell us who's in your question mark tier.
Okay, my question mark tier. This is actually where you're going to find the Twins, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Also, I have the Rays, Braves, Royals, Red Sox. Didn't see that coming. Reds, Diamondbacks, and Cardinals. I want to talk about the Twins for just a minute. Yes, you were right. The Twins did rattle off 13 in a row. Absolutely. What a great stretch for them. Good for them. But since then, Brig, they are 3-3 with all 3 of those wins were walk-offs. They could just easily be 0-6 since going 13-0, which would wipe out half of that win streak. And I understand walk-off wins, like I said, like I'm kind of talking on both sides of my mouth. I understand, like the ability to score
I was
runs
just going to call
late.
you out. Okay,
right,
good. Okay.
right. Like I know exactly what I'm saying, right? but it also feels like a slippery slope because they've given up. They've given up 2 walk-off wins this year, and that's 3 of their 5 wins this year. 3 of their 5 walk-off wins this year. Okay, so I'm a little bit leery of the Twins if they are the team that we saw at the beginning of the season, or if they're the team that we saw go 13 in a row, right? They could be somewhere in the middle, which could be okay in the AL Central, but I don't know if it necessarily will be. I don't know if that will get you into the playoffs. And so, are they good? Maybe. Are they bad? Also maybe. So I'm going to put them right in the
No,
middle.
they're
I
not
don't
bad.
know.
They're not bad.
They're
They're
not
not
bad,
bad.
right? They're not bad. Are
But
they
they might
good?
not be
I don't
really
know.
good either.
Maybe. Are they
Right.
not good? Maybe. Right?
Right.
So that's why I put them right in the middle
It makes
of
sense.
my question mark here because I don't know exactly who they are. Braves, I moved them up. I put them in my question mark tier because we got a Ronald Acuna Jr. back, and there is a chance that things could turn around.
Yep.
Having Superman by your side is a whole lot better than not. So that could bring a whole new level of confidence to that clubhouse, to that lineup, and we could see them really perform. The Red Sox, they've got a bunch of injuries and a bunch of weirdness going on. They're kind of a mess. So
yeah.
there are some teams that can get through it and do really well, but I know you're super sad about that.
Sorry.
My
Had to throw
biggest
it in there.
question mark is the Diamondbacks.
Yes. Yes. Same.
Why can nobody pitch for the Diamondbacks?
What is happening?
I was at a thing a couple weeks ago, and I was sitting talking to somebody about something completely different. And one of my buddies comes over, sits down next to me. He's like, "Why can't we pitch? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?" This team, despite the moves that they made in the offseason to improve their pitching, could end up being the exact same team that it was last year, where they lead MLB, all of MLB in runs scored, and still miss the playoffs because they can't pitch.
Yep.
They need to figure something out, or they're going to continue to miss the playoffs because they cannot pitch. And whether it's an ability to evaluate pitching talent, develop pitching talent, or adjust based on hitters adjusting to your pitching, I don't know what it is. But man, they're going to need to figure something out, or it's going to be another bad ending to the season. Because, look at this real quick, Brig. Yes, they have a +1 run differential, but they have a 26-27 record. That's exactly where I would expect that to be.
Yep.
Right, 15-20
Based on
against
the eye
teams over
test.
500. Yeah, 13-13 record at home. That's not good because you kind of have an advantage at home in Arizona.
I think you do.
So I don't know. And they've lost 5 straight as of today. They're going to need to figure it out. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're going to because that division's really, really tough.
Okay. All right. Are you done? Can I jump into my question
Go
mark?
ahead.
Is that the last thing?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep.
Because I'm going to talk about the D-backs as well, but let me rattle off my list first.
Okay.
Question mark: Cardinals, Blue Jays, D-backs, Astros, Brewers, Royals, Braves, Red Sox. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to go to the D-backs. Why are we bouncing around at 500 when their offensive numbers continue to be top 10 in almost all categories, top 5 in many of them? And what's astonishing to me, I don't understand, is that their pitching is also top 10 in lots of categories. Okay? But, right? Isn't that so surprising? But I think their schedule and their division has something to do with it. Here's what they've seen in May: Philly, then the Mets, then the Dodgers, then the Giants, then the Rockies, then back to the Dodgers, then they played St. Louis. And in that stretch, they only won 3 series.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
With the Rockies, Mets, and
the Rockies, Dodgers, Giants. They lost to Philly. They lost to New York. They lost again to the Dodgers and then against St. Louis. Now they're going to face, it's Memorial Day, so they're going to face Pittsburgh and somebody else that I felt like was going to be okay. So I expect them to win against Pittsburgh coming up. That's the next series they're going to face. It's Monday. we'll see. And then what is it? Who is it after that? The Nationals. I think they play the Nationals after Pittsburgh. So by
Yep.
the time this comes out, we'll have played all through Pittsburgh's series, and then like what, one game of the Nationals,
Two against the
two
Mets.
maybe.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is why I have them in my question mark tier. Like, I do not understand why they're struggling so much. Their team's collective ERA is at 2.58. Nope, that's the wrong statistic. I'm so sorry. Their team's collective ERA is 4.67. Okay? Their starting pitching, we have Merrill Kelly's 3.52, Brandon Pfaadt 3.90, Zach Gallen's at 5.25 ERA. Okay? Corbin Burns is doing his thing at 2.73, and Eduardo Rodriguez is 7.05. That's a problem. Okay? Out of the bullpen, their closer, Shelby Miller, 2.18, money. 3.04 out of Jalen Beeks. And then we jump up with Ryan Thompson's as 7.11. I think, honestly, that they are a few pitching changes away. If they can deal, if they can be successful at the deadline in the trade market, they are a few pitching changes away from making it back into the playoffs and then seeing what happens. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. I don't know if
They need
people will
Zach
have
Gallen to figure it out too, though. Like
gotta
that's a
have
big
that.
problem
You
because
gotta
he's
have
been
that.
money the last few years, and they need him to figure it out.
Yeah, but if you can replace Eduardo Rodriguez with somebody else, and if Zach Gallen can get it figured out, then okay, all right, then we'll know some things. All they got to do is hold serve a little bit between now and the break. If they can do that between now and the deadline, if they can do that in this division, and then they can pick up another starter, yep, that's what they need, and it'll be okay. The Blue Jays, Vlad is the only reason the Blue Jays are even up this high. And I can't put them as low as I want to because I don't have space. But their OPS is bouncing up and down off of, or his OPS is bouncing up and down off of 800. And that's awesome. But that's it. Nobody else is performing with any sort of. So I don't know what's happening there. The Astros, as long as they play at home, they're going to be fine. Their record at home is great. Their record away is awful. And if Framber Valdez can continue to give time to the bullpen and relieve them a little bit by going deep, and if they can hold out until Yordan Alvarez comes back, maybe we'll have an opportunity.
That's
for the
an
Astros.
interesting thing though, because I think they've said that there was something like a hand, like a strain in his hand or a bruise or something like that. But I've heard people questioning like, well, yeah, but they also told us that Kyle Tucker had a bruise on his shin, and he missed a ton of time last year with what ended up being a fracture. So are they being completely honest with Yordan Alvarez? Do we know exactly how long he's going to be out? Like, that's a huge question mark, and they need him.
Oh, they need
really
him bad.
Do.
They need him bad. For the Brewers, Henderson in 4 starts, which are his first 4 starts ever, by the way, is posting a 171 ERA with 29 strikeouts and only 6 walks. Oh, yeah, baby. And then Rhys Hoskins, when he's hot, and everything sort of falls into place behind him. And he's hot right now. So without those pieces, though, what can we expect? We don't know. Question mark. Royals, all the team lives and dies by Bobby Witt Jr. And he is now mediocre in May. And I'm like, ugh. A mediocre May for Bobby Witt Jr. is a death sentence to the Royals. If they have a mediocre June out of Bobby Witt Jr., it really will be a death sentence for them. And that's going to be rough.
His back's got to be tired from carrying that team the last year.
Yeah, seriously.
I think that's what it is, because it has been him. It was him last year too.
Yep.
Primarily.
And they've got some good pitching, right? But he can't cover the whole offensive necessity.
Right.
Nobody can. The Braves, I want to see how this Acuna thing goes before I pass any judgment. So big question mark there. The Red Sox, somebody else wrote this. I forget who it was, but they said if I could go back and change one prediction for the season, I would change my Red Sox prediction, and that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, this thing exploded at the
Yep.
hull level. Like
Hmm.
somebody put a bomb in the bilge and it is sinking fast. So I
Yeah.
am not, I do not know what's going on. They're not going to win the AL East. Um, they may enter my July emoji tears in the thumbs down if they're not careful. I think that's very likely. So I don't know. It's a miracle the O's are doing this badly. That's holding up the Red Sox a little bit as far as the standings go, at least mathematically. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how I have my question mark. All right, give me your thumbs down.
Okay, thumbs down. I have the Angels, A's, Pirates, Marlins, Brewers, Nats, Rangers, and Blue Jays. Everything you said about the Blue Jays, I don't. One guy to me cannot take them out of the thumbs down. It's not a good situation, despite having taken 2 out of 3 in Seattle. But I want to talk about that. The Angels. So
I
the Angels.
didn't think so.
The Angels are one of those teams where if I had to order this, they would be toward the top of my thumbs down. They're kind of figuring things out a little bit,
I know.
right? Like
It's
they're dealing
alarming.
with some injuries, like they do, like
Yep.
anybody does, right? But the
Yep.
Angels, I feel like, deal with specific injuries more than others, and they are. But here they are, like they're winning some games. They're putting it together. They have one of the best offensive catchers in baseball, in Logan O'Hoppe. Um,
No doubt.
but I think they're doing well. Honestly, the A's moved down for me most of the month. I was like, yeah, I might put them in my question mark. I might put oh no, the A's are who the A's are. They're 23-31. They've lost 9 of their last 10. Um, 8-20 against teams over 500. I think they will live here the rest of the season. They will not make it back into the poop tier because the poop is bad, really, really bad. And I don't think the A's are a really, really bad team. Part of the problem is they're just super duper young and they just don't have a bullpen. Like if you're playing against the A's and they jump out to an early lead, like get to that bullpen, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be just
Yep.
fine. The Pirates, I had them in my poop tier last month, but they're they're playing better. I think a
Mm-hmm.
fresh voice in the clubhouse might be helping somewhat. They will never get out of this tier for me. There's 4-6 in their last 10. Um, which is a pretty good stretch. They're 19-35 though. Like that's you're not going to get out of there. This is where you're going to live. Same thing with the Marlins. The Marlins are who they are. The Brewers. So one thing I've come to find out this year about the Brewers that I just know about this team is that if you're struggling offensively, play Milwaukee. You'll turn it around.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
They're
pitching
gonna help
is
you feel good.
it has not been good this year. I mean, uh, O'Neill Cruz set a new Satcast record for exit velocity off of a Brewers pitcher because I feel like they're serving up meatballs. Pat Murphy has been wildly frustrated with this team
How can he
to this
not be?
point,
After last season
right?
to now?
But the fact that he's vocalizing it is different.
That's
That's
true.
new. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's not good in Milwaukee right now. And then the Rangers, they brought in Brett Boone as their new hitting coach, and he kind of tried to loosen things up with like a little more easygoing plate approach, and it worked a little bit. But I don't know if it's gonna stick and if it's really gonna be what turns this team around. Offensively, they're not good. It's
No.
like everybody on that team forgot how to hit, and I know they haven't had Corey Seager,
True.
this entire time, but uh, one guy can't carry that offense.
Nope.
If that was the case, the Mariners would have won 5 World Series in the '90s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And they had three guys,
Yes,
not just one
exactly.
guy.
And
Three
an
or four of
ace, a
them
legitimate
actually. Yeah.
ace. So
They had a
yeah,
legitimate ace, and they had three bats that you could always rely on.
yep, yeah. So
Yeah. All right. My thumbs down tier: the Rays, Nationals, Pirates, Rangers, Angels, Reds, and the Marlins and the Orioles. We've said enough about the Orioles. It's confusing. It's disappointing. It's terribly sad. I know they're in my division, but it is just an abysmal showing, and I am just disappointed. On behalf of baseball, it's upsetting. The Rays, just no. Just no. That's my note. Just no. The Nationals, Mackenzie Gore is, in fact, on pace for 298 strikeouts, I learned. And if he does that, he will join only Pedro Martinez and Max Scherzer to have a season over 275 strikeouts in franchise history. I think Scherzer did it once. Pedro, I think, did it twice, if I remember what I looked up. But that's it, though. That's it. That's it. If you're a Nationals fan, just keep rooting for Mackenzie Gore because that's about all you got to look forward to. So, about every 5 days, you got to tune in and watch the Nationals.
Well, I would look forward to James Wood and C.J. Abrams, man.
Yeah, okay. They're
But
coming
like
up. They're
that's the
starting
thing
to
that's
figure it
weird
out.
is they've got some good talent on that team, but
Yeah.
they're not to the point where it's going to make a difference yet.
No. If when we get this far down to my thumbs down, I'm cherry picking a guy and saying
Yeah.
this is exciting.
Look, watch him.
Maybe build around him or whatever. It goes that way. Same thing for the Reds, right? They've got young talent. They've got a lot of great, exciting potential, but until potential turns into production, it doesn't matter. So they're bouncing
Right.
around 500. Unlike the D-backs, this one makes sense, though. The D-backs bouncing around 500 doesn't make any sense. This one makes a lot of sense. They got to win more than one series every once in a while, and I think through May so far, they've only won one series. So it's not going to cut it. It doesn't do it. Now, the Marlins, this is interesting. We thought everybody was going to trade Sandy Alcantara or trade for Sandy Alcantara, right? But now he's given up 5 earned runs, 6 total, just against Anaheim, and he's posting an 8 ERA right now. He's given up 23 hits over 4 starts in May through Memorial Day. Like, what is happening? So,
Yeah.
maybe he really does need a change of scenery, and I think there will be teams that are going to take a little bit of a risk on him, knowing what he has been capable of. But so far, this month has been really, really bad for Sandy Alcantara.
I will say this about him real quick is that I think if they were to trade him to a team that does really well develop pitching, you could get him back to form.
Agreed.
But it's not gonna happen in Miami.
No,
they're not a team that can do that.
And it won't be in LA with the Dodgers.
No,
They're
it
not.
won't be.
That's not a team you want to go and be
Tommy John again.
You're just going to end up exactly. So if we're talking about contenders who do a good job with pitching, the list gets short really fast. You said everything you need to say about the Rangers. Pirates make a lot of sense, but the Angels, I've put them up this far because they did sweep the Dodgers and won 8 straight. You got to give them a little bit of credit there, but then they're back to normal. Now they're back. They're already back.
Well,
so,
yeah, of course.
That's my thumbs
so
down.
The one thing that's funny is that when we pointed that out, we put that clip up on social about the Angels sweeping the Dodgers. People on TikTok were very quick to point out, well, they had 3 pitchers coming off the IL. Okay, that's fine, but it's still the Angels. You need to beat them. So,
agreed. All right, what's your poop tier?
Poop tier: Rockies, White Sox, and this is where I have the Orioles.
Yeah, solid.
So the Orioles, solid poop tier. That's anyway. I went back and forth with the Orioles on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, they have a ton of talent on this team, too good to be in the poop tier. But it doesn't matter. You can have all the talent in the world. Every team has big league talent. I know there are some teams that have more AAA talent and 4A talent than big league talent. But it doesn't matter if you're not performing. If your AAA talent is performing, you can still get to the playoffs. Your big league talent is not performing, and it's atrocious.
Shuffle the deck, baby.
Absolute mess. They didn't do it, and we've talked about this. We beat this horse to death. They did not do anything to figure out their pitching in the offseason.
And they let Corbin Burns walk.
And I think I've said it 3 times today. It doesn't matter how good your offense is. You're still going to lose if you cannot keep the other team from scoring.
Yep.
Okay?
Duh.
In baseball, your defense cannot score for you. So if you have a good defense but no offense, it doesn't matter. But also, your offense can't keep the other team from scoring. Like in
Nope.
football, your offense can run the clock. In basketball, you can dribble the clock down, right? That does not happen in baseball. You still have to play defense. You still have to pitch the ball. And if you cannot do those things, they're going to run the score up on you. You're going to lose a bunch of games. And when your catcher, who was supposed to be a perennial Gold Glove winner and Silver Slugging contender, is batting 211
Mm.
and has not been great defensively, you've got a bunch of problems.
Yeah.
And your guy who was supposed to be your top prospect in Jackson Holiday, like, there is something going on at the big league level, I feel like, the uh with the
The
Orioles
Orioles.
that I don't know if they don't know how to help their guys adjust, or if they just develop them in the minor league system, and then once they get there, they're like, okay, you're here, make it happen,
Do your thing,
right?
baby.
I don't know what it is, but there is a problem there that needs to be fixed, and firing Brandon Hyde is not going to fix it because it's a systemic issue.
That is step one, but it's not the final
Right,
solution.
and from what I understand, a lot of it is from a lot of stuff that I've read and I've heard and listened to, um, the GM could be a really big problem. Like, yes, he knows how to evaluate talent and draft, but once they get there, he has no idea how to put the team together,
Yeah.
and that's a problem. That is
You'd think the new
that's a
owners
major
group with
problem.
Cal Ripken and all them would help put
Well,
this,
the thing that's funny is that
you
they
know.
came in and it was like they're going to spend a bunch of money because they have a bunch of money, but then they didn't this off season. It was
Yeah.
almost like, whoa, wait, that's actual money. That's a whole lot of money you want me. Yes, that's how it works. Well, pump the brakes a little bit because we need a salary cap. It's like, oh shoot, that's not what you were saying a year ago.
Okay, but I don't think they're tanking. I don't think this is
They're
intentional.
not
I think
tanking. They're
this
not
is
tanking.
right.
It's just a poorly. It's just a team
Yeah.
playing badly. Like that's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they might not be put together well.
Yep.
They're not tanking again.
No, they're not. Okay, my
Okay, go
poop
ahead.
tier, Rockies, White Sox, A's.
A's. Don't put the A's in the
I
poop
have
tier.
to. You go from nearly first place to abandoned ship? Like what? This is 3-14. You have a come apart. It took 20 days for you to go 3-14 from being in almost in first place or nearly tied for first place or whatever it was. Like no, no.
I know.
This is such a disappointment. Like the O's have been bad the whole time. Okay? So I know they're thumbs down, but this poop tier, I've dropped the A's into the poop tier, hoping to motivate them because what I say matters. Like, it doesn't matter. But I. This is an emotional decision. I'm that disappointed. They were so exciting, and then they were just completely not. So that's where my poop tier goes.
Okay, real quick though. Speaking of the A's, Jacob Wilson might be my front runner for Rookie of the Year right now.
Now that dude is legit.
So he's batting 350. He's putting up an 888 OPS, 146 OPS plus, 11 strikeouts, 6 home runs, and 12 walks. The dude does not strike out. He also does not walk. He's up there to put the bat on the ball, and that's what he does.
He
So
does.
real
He
quick,
puts.
when I was at the
Yeah.
WAC tournament, he went to Grand Canyon, which is a WAC school. And when I was at the WAC tournament this weekend, I was talking to one of the media guys. We were walking around the stadium, and he's like, "That's the A's box right there, because that's where they have the tournament at the A's spring training facility."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "That's the A's box." He's like, "Last year, or I guess it would have been 2 years ago." He's like, "Billy Bean was there." He's like, "But he didn't want us to tell anybody he was here." And he's like, and the WAC people were all upset. They're like, "Well, we got to tell the story. Billy Bean's here." He's like, no, he doesn't want anybody to know he's here because he's here to watch Jacob Wilson. He's working. He's not just here to watch baseball. And so he said that he watched him hit twice and watched him play in the field and was immediately sold on him.
That's awesome.
The dude got drafted in 2023, got called up last year, and this year he's gonna like officially
Be
go
eligible.
through his. Yeah, he's going to burn up his rookie eligibility, and I think he'll win Rookie of the Year this year if he keeps going like this because he's legitimate. He dances in
Yep.
the box like nobody's business, and
That's for sure.
it makes me super anxious, but it helps
He's he's twitchy. Yeah,
big
it
time.
makes me anxious too. It's it's like Stanton when he goes.
I know. It's funny though because I used to do the same thing. I did the same thing in high school, and finally my coach goes, "Plant your feet, knock it
Yeah,
off."
settle down.
Yeah.
It's not
Quit
boxing.
dancing.
Yeah, so funny. All right, baseball family, that's our power rankings for the month of May. Moving into June, let us know how you feel about it. Did we completely miss? Do you agree with us? Whatever. Give us the snide remarks. Come at us. Fight us on it if you would like. Otherwise, just agree with us and tell us how awesome we are. It's up to you. We don't care. We'll take it either way. But baseball family, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review the show anywhere you're able. We're on all the social media platforms. Specifically, YouTube is kind of the best place to reach out and grab us. We do a lot of responding to comments specifically on YouTube, so that's another great way to interact if you're into that. Let's see. That's it. Tuesday
That's
mornings,
it.
Thursday nights, and Sundays. With that, baseball family, we'll catch you next week.